Remember playing on consoles in the 90s and making believe that you were part of various worlds, genres, styles that you ventured through? Well, this is one such game where you can do just that. Hi all, I'm Duty, and this is a VR accessibility overview for Pixel Ripped 1995 that is on Steam for PCVR and MetaQuest platform for Standalone VR. Like we have been doing, let us start with the seated setting question. The answer is that while there is no actual setting, the game doesn't have many of them at all really, but we'll get to that. You can play this from a seated position without issues because it seems it was intended to be played like this, which is different for a VR game from my experience after almost 3 years in this space. Not many games are typically meant to be played seated. It's just kind of a bonus thing. Next up, controls. Can you change them in any way? No. I think it is this way because you don't have any crazy changes. Not really throughout the game, but it would have been nice to have a little bit of choice because there are some situations, no spoilers, when the weapon gets put in a certain hand, left or right. I'm a lefty, so if it's in my right, I'm kind of screwed. And if that ends up being your non-dominant or weaker hand, like me, then you might be in a bit of trouble. I know I was. For the majority, you're using various controllers and things like that, so you needn't have to worry about that, thankfully. I'm going to be putting the movement and turning types together as both kind of get the same explanation for the most part. As I said on the previous part, you are using various controllers in the game as you are playing as a character that is playing games on different 90s platforms. So most of it's like side-scrolly and stuff like that. So the left thumbstick and the A and B buttons on the right VR controller, typically, are the main things that you need to worry about, except for certain situations that I won't spoil. Next up, colorblind modes and closed captions. The two things that are quite difficult to find in VR games these days. Sadly, for those who need colorblind modes, you're gonna be left out as there is none of the usual 3 modes in games that you typically see in other games. And I say 3 because it seems it ends up being 3 different modes in most games I've seen. Most being non-VR games, but still, that's how I know there's at least that many. So it would be nice to see them. And as for closed captions, that is a solid yes. You can just go into the options when you're on the main menu of the game or during gameplay itself, and they're right at the top. You can just toggle them and turn them on. Difficulty modes are essential in my opinion, and sometimes they're simply forgotten. Luckily, not in this game, which is nice. However, you do only have 2 to choose from, being normal and hardcore. Normally 2 different difficulty options would be a bit of a downside, as not every player is the same. Totally true. But this game is actually very forgiving, so it doesn't seem as much of a problem. It could still be for some, but it's a little bit more lenient than some games get at this point. As for upper body and arm movement, I'm gonna say, as there are plenty of times that you need to reach out to grab various things, from weapons to controllers to other objects in the game. You will also at times need to guide certain things in game with your full arm movement. I'm gonna have to say it's full. You could probably tell I was gonna say that. I do want to say something that I did say in the notes, the accessibility notes that are on their own page. If this is your first time seeing a video, I have a website, DewdyDoes.com. Go there. Text overview, video overviews are also there. You can get to them easy, as well as accessibility notes. And there are a lot more of those than there are video overviews. But yeah, they are something I did say in those notes, though. If you are on PC playing this game and it happens to fully support Steam VR, I did play this on the Quest 2, so I don't know for sure. The store page says that it does. But some games have said that and they've been lying. So be aware. But if it does, then you have things like Walk-in VR, which could easily remedy the situation of having to like lean really far or extend your arm really far to grab something. And even in the game, you will have to slightly turn, like, I don't know percentages, but maybe like 10 degrees or something to the left or right. At least in one chapter, you will, to go between video game kiosks. But you can take care of most of that with, actually all of it, with Walk-in VR, because it'll allow you to set up a button and hold that down, and you would be able to turn, and another option to hold the button down and to be able to go up and down for height. You don't really need to worry about that in this one, but it's good to know. And that is actually it for the overview. That is everything. I will say the notes probably say a couple things I might have passed, but I feel like I didn't. But anyway, I hope this has helped you. Or maybe you know somebody that has been on the fence about playing this game because they weren't sure. And if you do know anybody like that, give them the link to this video. Or better yet, give them the link to DewdyDoes.com. Like I said, the accessibility notes for 100 plus VR games is now up on there, good to go. I am going to try and go back and update some of the older ones to make them more thorough, but also you have the text version of this overview, as well as some others that I've recently done, and you have every video overview that I have done, as well as set up tutorials for the height offset and toggle of OVR advanced settings, and a setup tutorial for Walk-in VR as well. So much is on there. So if any of that can help you or somebody you know, good. That's why I do it. That's why I make these videos. That's why I make the list. That's why I make the notes. That's why I do all of it, is to try and help you guys. All of you. Because why would I keep this info to myself? That's just stupid. So yeah. Hopefully you're having a lovely day or whatever time it is for you when you're watching this. And I will see you later. All right. Bye.